You made it. Welcome to Module 10. So this is a module. I'm going to talk to you about the assessments I use, how we get the students screened for dyslexia, and how we monitor progress, and also how we know what letters we're going to be teaching as we move along. So I'm going to share my screen right away because I want you to know I always start with my bell curve. And I'm looking for the students who have average to high intelligence. Now, this is a bell curve of average students. These aren't the only average. These are all average students. So a dyslexic student will score here on a cognitive test. The other week, I had a student score here on a cognitive test, reading here, and the school is just overlooking him. What I have been using for a long time is the PPVT. And because I screen for an idea of what the next intervention is, this is not an official diagnosis from a psychologist. I can save the family a ton of money by doing my screen. And we actually need more kids screened so that we can get busy in giving them some intervention. I do the PPVT. And I do the Grail reading. So this gives me a cognitive score. This gives me a reading fluency. It's the rate and the accuracy and the fluency and comprehension. The thing with these two tests are they're nationally normed tests. So you need to have a master's degree in special ed in order to use them. So please come to me if you need help. The other thing I do is I have a dyslexia screen. I have two. This is the one for 2nd to 4th graders. I tell the teachers and the parents, have your students write these sentences out. If they're really, really low 2nd graders with their writing, maybe just the beginning of the sentence, ended picnic. But if the student has a lot of trouble writing these sentences, most likely they will, that's how you can take them out of a class of 25. 1 in 5 students has dyslexia. So while other students are writing these fine, you're going to have 5 kiddos that are struggling. Bring those 5 up one at a time. Ask them to try to sound out these nonsense words. These nonsense words are other words that we've just changed the beginning letter, or we've changed a vowel. So instead of the word came, I wrote rain. Instead of the word turn, I put cern. Instead of palm, I put tom. So if they know these phonics rules, they're going to get them right. But you're going to see they will not get these right. That's one of my screens. And then on the first day of tutoring, because I actually tutor several kids, on the first day of tutoring, I give them the past, which is available online by our wonderful Dr. Kilpatrick. And the past is pretty much how I explained in the last module, dropping off a syllable from 2-syllable words, dropping off a syllable from 3-syllable words. I followed his model to create my warm-ups. So you can download this from free, PAST. Look for Kilpatrick, and he has different levels, A, B, C, and D. So every 4 or 5 weeks, you can do another one. You want to put your scores from here up here and determine a percentage, because you're going to see this is how many were correct. This is how many were automatic. You're going to double these scores in 5 weeks. It's pretty amazing. Okay. If you're tutoring correctly, you're going to double the scores. So that's that. Then I want to show you an OG checklist. So when I was in my practicum, my first coach, who actually unfortunately passed away, had so many wonderful things to give us. But it was kind of undaunting because there was so much. So this comes out of the ABCs of OG. If you can find that assessment, I have it because I was a student and I was able to get it. But this is really beautiful. It shows you what letters to work on first. Group 1, Group 2, Group 3, Group 4. Now with my step-by-step reading, I'm already covering some of these before I cover some of these. Well, but this is pretty much the normal steps, you know, the WH, CH, and then you'll see Group 5. And then, okay, this is what I was going to tell you. I do silver clips when they go together. So group 6 is here, the ch. And this is when they get a little bit more complicated. So the EA sounds like E, A, and E. E, A, and E. So your ABCs of OG book give you specific pages to cover each one of these sounds. Isn't that cool? So you just put the date here of when you cover it. And of course, you're going to review it. And then my third clip, silver clip, is part of the same assessments. I'm working with some of my students over 100 hours, talking about plurals, ending irregular plurals, but I'm doing suffixes and prefixes. Here's our floss words that you would put the date where you taught the floss. So right now I'm doing OI, OY, you know, some of these little tricky ones. So this is a set that I keep in every student's binder. Now I use my color clip because they go together. There's 3 pages here. So I'm going to show you that because that's real important. When the students are first learning their sounds, this is a checklist I don't typically use, but it's good to show you because it also shows the most popular sound of the word. So A consonant E, A, E consonant E, E. These are the most popular way these sounds are spelled. You notice how they all have the schwa, but you can check these off after your students learned it. So right now we're learning OI and OY. Even though the students have been introduced to it and those synapses have been fired, they're still not remembering certain things when they write. That's why we want them to write sentences. That's when you know what to work on a little bit more too. So if we haven't covered some of these, I'll know this is where I'm going to, my next lessons of teaching the consonant, the vowel teams. Not, okay, and just to remind you, this isn't when I'm working on my spelling list and those sentences. This is when I'm doing the other opportunity of more of the Orton Gillingham model. That's what they want you to see. So I wanted to show you, there's 2 amazing tests that I learned in my practicum. One is the Gallus Ellis, which, hold on a second. This is, okay, so this is for reading. When I do my assessments for a student, it takes about an hour, and it's going to let me know where to start with the student, and I start my step-by-step reading. And I don't need to write up a report because I'm just tutoring the student, but I'll definitely let the parent know what the results were. And when I'm doing a full-on assessment that takes 2.5 hours, and I charge a lot more, not as much as psychologists, this is when I'll do the Gallus Ellis because it'll tell me what words the student has trouble with. And there's instructions to all these tests, how you guide them into reading. And then the Barnell Loft is a guide to spelling. Some of the words are the same, but there's different instructions and different scoring sheets, and the scoring sheets are amazing. If anybody ever wants extra training on this, we could always do a webinar and I'll teach you how to use these. But imagine writing a report where you're showing the parent, here's where your child is stuck spelling, or you're the parent and you're seeing where your child is stuck with spelling. where your child's stuck reading. Another thing I want to show you is this is very useful for how do you spell. It's actually this and this, okay? There's two different lists. There's going to be so many lists out there. You want to pick a list that works for you. For example, OW says O, OW, it can sound like ow and O, like snow and plow. So we have OU, EA has these three sounds. There's also this sheet you can use. Pick one or the other. But when I'm asking a student, how do we say E? I want to hear them say as many sounds that they've learned. EE says E, Y says E, EY says E. So these checklists are also helpful and they help guide instruction. And the last thing I want to show you is what does dyslexia look like in the classroom? I was an adjunct professor at one of the prominent universities in our community, and I share this with my students of human growth and development, showing them this is what dyslexia looks like in the classroom. And it was really cool because it surfaced again somewhere in my Orton Gillingham and in my work with Spire. And I can't remember where I found it unless I just kept it. But anyway, I like to give a copy of this page to the parent while I'm assessing the child. And they're going to just highlight so many things there. So this is a real good tool. And all of these tools are available if you want to reach out to me. I can send you some tools. And now I'm going to stop my share. And I'm going to review what we did in every module. So the introduction module that was on YouTube was phonogram cards. I showed you how to use key concept pictures with the cards, how we do the easier cards and the complicated cards. You say the letter names, you say the letter sound, but you say the picture, and eventually the picture goes away. Eventually the letter name goes away and the student's just saying the sound. Now that you've seen the big picture, you see the value of that, right? So then module 2 was teaching about the sound circles. You always want to have your student say the word, tap out the sounds with their fingers, pull the circles down, point and say each sound, and then run their finger underneath and say the whole word. Module 3, we talked about the colorful plastic letters and how we put them in front of the vowel, after the vowel, in front of the vowel, after the vowel. You follow my scope and sequence to know which letters to use. And it just really builds those new pathways, neural pathways, and gets the child saying the short vowel sounds. And then that actually will build to selecting the letters that are in the spelling exercises so that the student is doing 5 at a time and getting through those spelling exercises. Module 4, I explained all the books that I have in my step-by-step reading. They're on my wall back there. And I actually demonstrated what it was like using the music, playing with my app in the left ear, reading the phonics. So you can actually read it from the phonics reader, or you can actually read it online. Module 5, I combined 2 steps. Module 5, I showed step 5, which is the easy peasy whiteboard activity. And I showed you step 6, which is working in the junior workbook. Module 6, I combined 2 steps as well. I combined step 7, which is a beginning, middle, ending exercise, and step 8, which takes you into the workbook 2. So you could see why we get rid of the whiteboards when the student's been with us 50 hours. We're not doing the whiteboards anymore. We're doing the Cintron beginning, the warm-up drills instead, substituting syllables and substituting beginning sounds and letters. It's just a little bit deeper. It's a deeper dive into that. So module 7, I taught you the phonics tricks. I went through all my books, the grammar tricks, not phonics, the grammar tricks, because a lot of teachers don't know the rules. And when my students learn the grammar rules, sometimes they're smarter than any other kid in their class. So I love those grammar tricks. And then module 8, I talked about the app, and I talked about the parental toolbox, all the reproducibles that are available in my kit. And for module 9, I talked about what to do if a student's been with you 50 hours or more, 30, 40, 50, go ahead and give them a post test, see how much they've improved. And our reading program has brought 1 to 3 year gains in only 6 weeks. I just had a parent email me that her daughter has made 7 years growth in her reading since October. And this is a parent who got trained in my program. She is a teacher and she's a parent of a dyslexic child, and her school wasn't helping her child. She changed schools, went to a private school. She's her teacher. She's her child's teacher. And she was able to get trained in my program. Her child is 7 years old, made 7 years gain. It's amazing. I'm really excited to see how the child's reading. So that was module 9. And so what I also showed in module 9 was the way to transition from step-by-step reading into more Orton Gillingham models, and whether you want to do a pure Orton Gillingham model or whether you want to merge the Orton Gillingham model with the step-by-step reading and keep your student, your child, working with the spelling exercises and the app, because they really love the app. I'll tell you, they really do. Music app. And then module 10, I just reviewed different assessments. I use the pre-screens. We need to pre-screen more kids. We've got such a high need of kids that need intervention. And if we wait for everybody to get a full-on psychological assessment, they're waiting a long time. Schools are overloaded with so many on the schedule. So let's get people trained and learn how to screen kids so we can see what the next steps are going to be to help these students learn to read. So I'm going to offer you an opportunity. If you have missed any of the modules here and you desire to have them all together, I will give them to you. And I'm thinking of asking $97 for all the modules, and I can put them on a flash drive to you and send them to you. How easy is that? So these are very specific links. Only you can get them because I'm not posting them on YouTube. And so it's $97. And then when I send this module out, I'm going to have 2 other opportunities where you, as my very important person and partner in this, can get a special price on some of the other materials that I've created, that I've labored over, that I've loved, I'm passionate about, and I'm passionate to help you. I want to help our kids, and I want to help you help our kids. So I am so appreciative of you joining me through this 10th module. And we're going to have some opportunities to talk, have some Q&A, have some other opportunities to be together. So we're in this journey together. And thank you for your time, Dr. Marianne Cintron, Step-by-Step Dyslexia Solutions. Remember, you can always schedule time to talk with me at meetmarianne.com. And my reading program is available for purchase on that meetmarianne.com if you're interested. But you're going to get a special offer. So I will talk soon. Bye-bye.